trapped in the storm of forbidden love. At 45, a married woman finds herself swept into a storm of emotions she never anticipated. Her life, once steady and predictable, is thrown into turmoil by an unlikely source, Jessica, her husband's captivating younger sister. Jessica's vibrant energy and intoxicating charm ignite desires that had long been buried. What begins as innocent admiration spirals into an irresistible attraction, as stolen glances and lingering touches set the stage for an explosive connection. One fateful evening, left alone together, their simmering tension reaches a breaking point. Over shared wine and dim lighting, unspoken feelings are finally confessed. A single kiss transforms the air into fire, a kiss that obliterates boundaries and ignites a passion neither can resist. Their bodies collide in an urgent, forbidden embrace, each touch electrifying and every gasp a rebellion against their lives. Welcome back to Silent Confessions. Today's story dives deep into the tangled web of love, passion, and betrayal, a true confession that will leave you questioning the boundaries of loyalty and desire. This is a story of forbidden love, secrets, and the irresistible pull of passion. Stay with me and don't forget to subscribe for more intense and raw confessions like this one. I never thought I'd be that person, trapped in a tempest of emotions that ignited my soul and consumed my mind. At 45, I had built a life that seemed immovable, secured by my marriage to Mike, a steadfast man, my partner for decades. But 2 years ago, the foundation beneath us began to tremble. The reason? Jessica. Jessica, my husband Mike's younger sister, entered our lives as this vibrant whirlwind of energy. She was magnetic, her laughter a symphony that lifted even the heaviest hearts. At family gatherings, she stood out, a glowing ember in the otherwise predictable rhythm of my world. But what began as innocent admiration soon twisted into something I could no longer ignore. My heart betrayed me with every glance, every restless thought of her. Family dinners became emotional minefields, moments of tension hidden behind polite smiles and carefully placed masks. The woman I once saw as part of our familial circle had now become the source of a longing I couldn't escape. What started with fleeting smiles and casual words became something far more dangerous. Jess had this energy, a gravitational pull I couldn't resist. Her laughter eclipsed even the brightest conversations. Her touch, though brief, left a current singing through my veins. In her presence, I felt exposed yet exhilarated. Each family gathering became a performance in concealing the storm of emotions battling within me. The air seemed heavier whenever she walked into a room, charged with an unspoken electricity. I convinced myself I was overreacting, a fool entertaining fantasies that couldn't possibly be rooted in reality. And yet, every shared glance, every accidental brush of her hand, made me hunger for what I would not admit to myself. She was more than a passing fascination. She was becoming my obsession. Nights became my battleground. At first, my dreams of Jess were harmless, shrouded in innocence, but slowly they took on a sharper edge, becoming more vivid, more intimate. These dreams painted forbidden scenes that I couldn't escape, no matter how hard I tried. I would wake in sweat-drenched sheets, gasping for air as if I had been on the brink of an emotional storm. Her scent lingered in my imagination, her voice echoed in my ears, and the curve of her lips began to haunt my waking hours. I knew I was treading dangerous territory. Shame and guilt tightened their grip around me as I struggled to suppress the tide of feelings that grew stronger each day. Yet, no amount of self-discipline could stifle the aching pull of her presence. Then came that night, the night when everything unraveled. Mike and Jessica's boyfriend, Sam, planned to watch a game together, leaving Jess and me alone at our house. Over dinner, we exchanged easy banter, though the room's air felt charged with anticipation. Our gazes lingered a second too long, as if wordlessly daring the other to acknowledge the connection simmering between us. Later, we settled on the couch, wine glasses in hand, the soft flicker of light bathing the room in a warm glow. Jess sat closer than necessary, the heat of her body radiating toward mine. Her perfume, sweet, subtle, intoxicating, wrapped itself around me like an invisible tether. Our conversation danced on the knife's edge of propriety, but my thoughts betrayed me, drawn to her lips as they moved, the faint stain of wine on her smile. Suddenly, The dam burst. I couldn't keep my feelings contained any longer. My voice shook with raw honesty as I told her everything. How she made me feel alive in ways I hadn't felt in years. How her presence was a craving I couldn't shake. Jess's expression softened, her face a mirror of the emotions I had long hidden. And then she whispered those fateful words. She felt the same. A beat of silence passed before she reached for my hand. That simple gesture was enough to ignite the smoldering fire between us. Her lips met mine in a kiss so powerful, it felt like an eruption of pent-up longing, a storm sweeping us both away. What followed was a delicate balancing act, a dangerous dance across the razor's edge of secrecy. Stolen moments with Jess became my escape, even as guilt clawed at my conscience like a relentless wraith. Her kisses were an intoxicating salvation, her touch a balm that soothed the emptiness I hadn't fully realized lived within me. But each moment of ecstasy was chased by torment. When the world would inevitably catch up with me, the guilt returned tenfold, leaving shadows in even the brightest corners of my life. Still, I couldn't stop. Each meeting with Jess grew more necessary, more desperate. We lived for the adrenaline of our love, as if the walls of our double lives were starting to close in. There were times when we wanted to push it all away, but when I thought of stepping back, of never feeling her warmth against me again, the pain was unbearable. Jess had become both my sanctuary and my undoing, a tether to both passion and destruction. As the days melted into weeks and months, the tension in our lives became impossible to ignore. Mike, ever the constant, remained oblivious, or so I believed. Every interaction with him filled me with a conflicting ache. I loved him, I truly did. He was my stability, my partner, the man who built so much of my life alongside me. But that love now stood in contrast to the wildfire Jess had set in my heart. Then there was Sam, Jessica's boyfriend, another innocent bystander caught in the storm swirling around us. The four of us had unknowingly woven a web of connections that had grown so dangerously entangled, each thread now threatening to snap under the strain. The weight was too much. There were days when I imagined confessing, telling Mike everything, laying bare the truths that had consumed me. But how could I destroy everything we'd built? How could I break the man who trusted me so deeply, risk being the cause of his heartbreak, his betrayal? And yet, the thought of walking away from Jess was equally unbearable. In her arms, I felt alive in ways I hadn't known I was missing. How could I sacrifice that exhilaration, the fire of a love so consuming, it had rewritten the very fabric of my existence? I'm trapped in a love triangle of my creation. On one side, Mike, the steady foundation, the man whose love grounded me. On the other, Jessica, the forbidden thrill, the person who awakened something I hadn't known was buried inside me. What happens next terrifies me. Will Mike uncover the truth? Will Sam? Every glance exchanged at family gatherings grows heavier, every smile more forced. I can feel the walls of our careful discretion beginning to crack, and still, I can't stop. This love, our love, is as intoxicating as it is destructive. The fear of losing everything wars with the equally consuming fear of losing her. And as the days pass, I find myself asking the question I dread most. Will this storm of passion destroy us all? This is my story, with all its contradictions, its joy, and its heartbreak. Love doesn't fit into neat little boxes. It's messy, unpredictable, and sometimes overwhelming. If you've ever found yourself caught between love and loyalty, desire and duty, know you're not alone. If this story resonated with you, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Silent Confessions is here to share the stories we're often too afraid to tell. And trust me, there's more to come. What would you do if you were in my shoes? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and stay brave.